Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Full Court NBA podcast. Um, I'm Clayton DeCare, and this is my co-host Seamus DeCare, also my brother. And we're gonna have a little bit of a shorter episode today, but we're still gonna be doing it today. So, can you hear my background noise? It's the first question.
No, I can't hear anything.
You can't? Okay, good, because a huge truck just came by. All right, what's the first topic?
Oh, the NBA made a new rule where coaches, they have one challenge per game and they have to use a timeout to do it. But they can challenge a call that they don't like, or let's say they shoot. It's a big moment in overtime. I think you can only use it in the first 46 minutes though. Say it's a big shot, but their foot was apparently on the line. The ref calls it two. You can challenge it, but you have to call timeout, and you have to like twirl your finger like this to tell them you want to challenge. So, do you like this rule or do you not like this rule?
Wait, so you can't call it in the last 2 minutes?
You cannot. I believe you cannot call it in the last 2 minutes, and you can. I believe you. They can still get challenged, but I don't think the coach can challenge it.
Oh, okay. Um, well, when I first heard about the rule, I thought it was a really good idea. Even though a lot of people falsely think that it's going to take up more time. I don't think it might take up a little more time, but it's a timeout. There's a reason they're taking a timeout away for this. Wait, what's
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you are right about the challenge. Do you get your timeout taken?
Yes, you get a timeout taken away.
Okay, so you would have been losing time anyway with the timeout. So I feel like a challenge won't be wasting too much time, and it always could. Well, you always have people complaining about plays all the time, or coaches complaining about plays, and it's been a big problem. Coaches have been ejected for yelling at refs, and I feel like this will be a good way to kind of get the like kind of prevent that complaining from happening because now coaches have the power to challenge it and it doesn't just like slip away and you can't do anything about it. So it kind of gives the coach a better role. So I kind of like it. So that's
I
kind of
like
it.
the I like the rule because we won't have another. Hopefully, we won't have another Western Conference Finals like when the Kings played the Los Angeles Lakers and the refs kind of cheated them out of the series. The Kings should have made the NBA Finals. Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Mike Bibby.
Hmm.
That team is deep. They should have made it, but yeah, that's all I have to say. We won't have any more blown playoff games anymore. We'll actually have
Yeah.
the right calls finally.
The only thing
The
I
refs had a
question
pretty
about it
bad
though,
year. What'd you say?
the only thing I really question about it is the last 2 minutes. If you can't call a challenge in the last 2 minutes, that's kind of like the most important part of the game, and that's when the refs are kind of like on the most pressure because they need to call the best calls and they might make a wrong call. So if the coaches can't challenge in the last 2 minutes, um, it kind of that, that I feel like if I was a coach, I'd want to save my challenge for the last 2 minutes of the game in case something does happen that I don't think is right.
I
And
don't. I'm not 100% certain that's what it is, but I'm pretty positive. I just read something about it this morning.
okay,
So
well, if that is the case, it will take up a lot. A lot of people might get mad um in the fourth quarter in a tight game because it is gonna like kind of leave like not anticipation, but it's gonna be like kind of bring people on the edge of their seats and they just want the game to like keep going and they're gonna get impatient. I feel like that's the one problem with it, but I kind of feel like it should be the last 2 minutes.
okay, so now we're gonna give our really early predictions for the standings of each conference, all 15 teams, starting with 15 to the number 1 seed.
For which conference?
We're both of them.
No, which are we starting?
Oh, the East. But we're gonna do another episode like this right before the season, maybe a week before. So this is kind of like a rough draft. This is just a guess way before the season. So I'll start my 15th seed in the East. The worst team, most likely in the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets. I don't see anything positive on that team except Miles Bridges. And he's 15 points a game and maybe 9-10 rebounds. Who else do you have? I don't trust Terry Rozier to carry a team. I mean, when Kemba was there, his second best player was Jeremy Lamb. And on another team, he's a role player. Like, they failed. If you had Kemba Walker as a superstar and you could never make the playoffs, what makes you think you're going to be anything now? They're the worst team in the league. Unless you're number 15.
This was probably like one of the hardest decisions for me between 14th and 15th seed. And you'll know the other team when I get to 14, but I decided the 15th seed would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think they're going to be good at all next year, despite having Colin Sexton and Kevin Love. But
well, they just drafted Kevin Porter Jr. He's a good rookie.
Yeah, they did get him, but I feel like they have nobody to play for. Like, nobody's going to their games. Nobody cares about the Cavs ever since LeBron James left. And this team, Kevin Love, he's doing good, but he needs to back off for Colin Sexton, because Colin Sexton they should build. I mean, I don't know actually, but I don't know if they should build what the Cavs should do. They're in a pretty bad place for me. I feel like they're not going to pull it off together. They're way too young. They have a second-year player who wasn't Rookie of the Year. He wasn't even top 2. I'm not sure about top 3, but they got Kevin Love, who's
I know he was top.
Yeah.
I think he was top 4. He was number 4 because DeAndre Ayton was number 3 in the voting.
Yeah. I really don't think the Cavs are going to pull it off next year.
Well, they were my number 14. I mean, they have Colin Sexton. They still have Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, Cedi Osman, who I like. Cedi Osman's pretty good. But they're too young. Nobody on their team's an all-star. Colin Sexton's very inconsistent. He's still learning. He turns the ball over he makes a lot of dumb decisions. Kevin Porter Jr., we don't know how he's going to be yet, but I think he's going to be a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're better than anybody else other than the Hornets. Who's your 14th?
My 14th is the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, I kind of figured we'd be pretty similar in the East.
Yeah. The Hornets, they lost Kemba Walker and they got Terry Rozier. Rozier proved that he can be a really good player in the playoffs with the Celtics, but I don't know how he's going to work with the Hornets. But I think Terry Rozier is a more reliable person than Colin Sexton as of right now, just because how good you've seen Terry Rozier could be. So I don't really have a reason. It was just kind of instinct. It's my gut feeling, but I think the Hornets will be slightly better than the Cavs. And that was one of my hardest decisions, was the Hornets or the Cavs. I think they'll be maybe 2-3 wins apart. They're both going to suck.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty bad.
They have nobody. And they got Michael Jordan, who's a horrible – he's the
worst GM in NBA history.
He's a GM, yeah. He's horrible.
My number 13 is the New York Knicks. They've signed some good players, but nowhere to the skill level of the players they were supposed to sign. They got Julius Randle. I think he's a borderline all-star.
He's good.
Or maybe he's just slightly below all-star, but Marcus Morris is a good pickup. Who else do they get? Bobby Portis is pretty good. I love what is his name? Something Robinson. You know who I'm talking about? I just
No.
don't know his first name.
Here, let me look.
I just saw it, but
Mm.
he's one of the best defensive big men in the league. He's very young. He didn't get a lot of minutes last year. I believe he played like 20 minutes a game and he averaged 2.5 blocks. They've got lots of young talent on the Knicks. They're just too young. There's too many new pieces on that team right now. They're better than the Cavs and Hornets, and that's good enough of a season for them. Just don't be the worst team.
Mhm. My number 13 is the Chicago Bulls.
His name is Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Number 13, Chicago Bulls. I mean, they did get Kobe White out of the draft, but I wonder if they'll be starting him over Chris Dunn, who was an absolute tragedy. He sucks.
Chris Dunn's a really good defender, and he's good at
I
stealing the ball.
He can't facilitate the offense. He's not a good point guard. Other than that, they got Zach LaVine. They got a young core. I think Zach LaVine's the type of player when you put him on a good team, he'll suck. I think the only reason he's good is because he's on a bad team. Honestly.
Damn.
Yeah, I think that. That team just has nothing really going for them except they have a young core and Zach LaVine. That's it. I don't think there's anything special about them.
They were my number 12. Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen are the only two players on that team I can say are good. Kobe White, we don't know. They got rid of Bobby Portis. They had a guy in the summer league who's played really well. Can't think of his name because he's in the summer league. I didn't even know he got drafted. But Lauri Markkanen is their best player. He's better than Zach LaVine. He's an all-star. He will be an all-star one day. He's just injury prone. He's slow.
I've actually never heard of them.
And I think Bobby Portis is a big hit to lose. I mean, he did.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really know who he is. He was a good player. He would get you 15 points off the bench, get you 8 or 9 rebounds. He was tough. The Bulls are just a middle of the pack they're a borderline lottery team. They're gonna get like the 5th or 6th, 7th pick.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're too young. They're not good enough yet.
All right, my number 12. My number 12 is the New York Knicks. They missed out on Zion. They missed out on Kevin Durant. They missed out on Kyrie Irving. They missed out on everyone. They got Julius Randle. He's good. He's pretty good. They got R.J. Barrett. They drafted a few decent pieces, but it's pretty upsetting because they could have gotten Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and they could have gotten Zion, but they didn't get the first pick. So they have a decent team that needs to learn how to play with each other, a decent young core. I feel like R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle are not a 13th seed team. I think that they're going to play really well together. And I think that they could potentially be a low seed in the play or a high seed in the playoffs, like the 8th, 7th seed. I think that means low seed. But I think that's their highest potential. But this first season, I think they'll be the 12th seed.
All right. My number 11 is the Washington Wizards. John Wall towards whatever in the slipping in the shower. I think that's bullshit. I think he's doing something stupid. Bradley Beal can't carry them on his own. And I think they're going to trade him. rumor has it him and John Wall might both be shipped to Miami.
Yeah, I heard that.
If they don't keep Bradley Beal, they might take place as the worst team in the East. Bradley Beal's literally going to carry them this year. But I believe in Bradley Beal. That Otto Porter is on the Bulls now. He's a big loss, which kind of showed last year. They won 33 games, I believe. That team's just, it's Bradley Beal or bust.
Yeah.
If he's not on fire, you're losing a game. And it's hard to be on fire for 50 games when you're carrying the load by yourself. I think they're going to win 32 or 33 games again.
Yeah, they won 32 last year, I think. So my number 11 is also the Washington Wizards. I think if John Wall comes back good, and if Bradley, I'm assuming they stay. So I don't think Bradley Beal is going to be able to carry the load for a while, and I think he needs John Wall. So if John Wall comes back the second half of the season, I think they will get a nice run. But I think the fact that John Wall wasn't there for the first part of the season is going to really, really hurt them. And because of that, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And I think they'll be 11th seed. They'll be behind two teams that don't make it. Their offense is pretty subpar and their defense sucks. I'm pretty sure they pay some players that shouldn't be paid that much a lot of money. I'm pretty sure they're stuck with contracts, so they're not looking bright in their future. This year, it's not going to be that good. They have no chance of making the playoffs, in my opinion, unless John Wall
I don't think
comes back game one and drops 50 a game.
Yeah.
Number 10.
The Detroit Pistons. I have them missing the playoffs. Reggie Jackson's a bum. I'm sorry. He's not that good. He's very careless. Blake Griffin's getting up there in age. He's injury prone. It's going to catch up with his knees. He's getting a better jump shot, but Andre Drummond can't shoot for shit. Can't make a free throw to save his life. Even though he did dramatically upgrade his free throw percentage. He's still not good, though. He's good for 16, 17 points. He's the best rebounder in the game. They signed Derrick Rose. So what? I don't think he's going to do anything. I love Derrick Rose. He's good still, but I don't care. It's not going to do anything to their record.
Yeah.
That team is they're going downhill fast. They're too old. Stanley Johnson's a bum. He's a good defender, but offensively, he's terrible. That team they're the 10th seed at best and 8th. They're stuck as in between those placings in the East. They're not going to have a good, decent pick. They're always going to be middle of the draft. That sucks.
My number 10 is the Orlando Magic. They re-signed Nikola Vucevic, and they have a good front court, which is good to have, just like the Pistons have a good front court. But you know who their point guard is? Michael Carter-Williams. Wow.
They have
bust.
They have DJ Augustin.
He's old.
He did good last year.
I don't think he's gonna be able to take this team very far. Michael Carter-Williams sucks. He's their point guard. I just think that they need a good point guard to go farther. That's all I really have to say. I don't think their front court's going to be able to carry them to the playoffs this year because I feel like the East actually got a little better. Well, not no. Actually, no. They lost Kawhi, but I feel like there's teams that are better than the Magic. All right, here's your number 9.
Orlando Magic. Nikola Vucevic is an all-star. Aaron Gordon is a little bit below an all-star. Evan Fournier is a good player. I like Jonathan Isaac. Terrence Ross re-signed there. He's big for them in the playoffs. DJ Augustine played okay. They're a good team. And they're going to be battling for the 8th and 7th and 6th seed in the East. Those 3 seeds are all going to be like a game apart. That's how bad the East is. So there's going to be like 6 teams battling to make the playoffs. But the Magic, I think, are going to slightly be edged out. And I'll explain why later.
Next team.
Yeah.
All right, my number 9 is the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be an amazing team in the near future because they have freaking I think they got DeAndre Hunter. My notes. They got Trae Young, Josh Collins. Nice. Good drafting, am I right? DeAndre Hunter is a good small forward. They got a really young team, but I don't think they're gonna come together like this young and make the playoffs. I think they'll be the one. I think they'll be the team out of the playoffs by 1, and I think next year they'll be a playoff team. But this year, I can't give it to them. I'm gonna mute myself. It's freaking loud.
My number 8 is the Miami Heat. Is the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, in my opinion, is an up-and-coming superstar. He's crazy from long distance, great passer, great scorer. He's up and coming. John Collins is up and coming. He averages 18 and 11 in his sleep. Kevin Huerter, the shooting guard, I think that's how you say his last name, is a marksman from 3.
Mm-hmm.
They have, I'm pretty sure they still have Dwayne Dedman, who is a solid center. He can hit threes. He's a shot blocker. They drafted DeAndre Hunter. That team is a playoff team. Trae Young and John Collins, Kevin Huerter, Dwayne Dedman, all those boys, they already have chemistry together. John Collins and Trae Young especially, they're the next John Stockton and Karl Malone with jump shots.
You ready for the 8th seed?
What is it?
The Detroit Pistons are going to be the 8th seed, and they're going to be the worst team to make the playoffs. And the reason why I say that is it's a comparison to the Magic and the Pistons. I feel like they could have been flopped, but I ended up putting the Magic at 10 and Pistons at 8, just because I feel like it's a battle of the front court. And I mean, Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin's a borderline all-star, in my opinion.
He still is, yeah.
Yeah, Andre Drummond is the best rebounder in the league. I mean, you can't go wrong with the front court like that. And it all comes down to the Magic and the Pistons, who has the better backcourt. And with the signing of Derrick Rose, I mean, I know Derrick Rose isn't like what he used to be at all, but he's a veteran point guard, I'd say already. He can pass the ball, he can score the ball.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's good. I mean, didn't he drop 50 last year?
Yeah, he was my second pick for 6th man of the year.
He still has it in him. Like, he is going to be a huge addition to that team. You have Blake Griffin leading the team, Andre Drummond being the second man, and then you have Derrick Rose running the offense. That team, if that team doesn't make the playoffs, I'll be disappointed.
You trust Derrick Rose to run the offense on those legs?
Yeah.
I wouldn't play him.
I don't think he's not a slasher. He doesn't play like a slasher too much anymore.
I wouldn't play him more than 25 minutes a game.
I wouldn't play him many minutes either because I don't want him to get hurt.
All right.
What's your 7th?
the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat's my number 7. It's going to change if they get a trade for somebody. But right now, it's Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, and Hassan Whiteside, James Johnson. That team is great defensively. They're suspect offensively. They're going to struggle to score. Other than they had 2 players, Goran Dragic and Jimmy Butler. I think they're going to be one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. They're terrible, I think, offensively. Jimmy Butler is going to have a hard time with that team.
He can play offense.
Jimmy Butler. Goran Dragic is a good second option to have for him right now, but it's not good enough to get him into the second round of the playoffs. I think they might get swept in the first round.
Yeah,
but
you could.
Yeah, they're the 7th seed right now until I see them get Beal or Wall and Beal. Oh, yeah, that's my 7th.
I disagree. I think the 7th is the Toronto Raptors. The reason why is Kawhi. Oh, it's cringy, but I don't care. Kawhi Leonard is gone. And it looks like they're going to be trying to build around Pascal Siakam. And I don't think they're going to make a big impact next year building off of Pascal Siakam or having a Pascal Siakam take a leadership role. They still have Marc Gasol, right? They got Marc Gasol, Pascal Siakam. They have, what's his name? The dude who went off in the finals. VanVleet. They have Kyle Lowry. I mean, that team's good. It's a playoff team, but they're not passing the 7th seed. I almost put them at the 8th seed. This team's not going to do much after losing Kawhi Leonard like that. They relied on him too much.
All right.
Yes.
My number 6 is the Toronto Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're still a top 5 defensive team in the league. I don't think they relied on Kawhi Leonard too much because they actually went 17-5 without him last year. They played statistically, they were not better without him. But statistically, they played better when he was off the court in the regular season. Marc Gasol is a good center. Serge Ibaka, who you forgot to name.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Is tremendous for them, and he is a very underrated player. Pascal Siakam is a good player. He's a solid player to build around. He reminds me of a slightly better Draymond Green in a way. They have Fred VanVleet, who's up. I think he's up and coming. Kyle Lowry's still an all-star. People act like he's not. He's still an all-star. And I trust their president of basketball operations, their what's his name? Sasha Ujiri or something. He is the best at what he does, and he will fix the team up to being back to like a contender, I believe. He's gonna do some trades or something. He's gonna get them back. But even without trades, the Raptors are gonna be fighting to make the second round.
Yeah. I think he's pretty upset that he lost Kawhi Leonard, so I'm not sure if that's gonna like mess anything up for him, but we'll find out next year.
Yeah.
Jesus, dog's crying. Crying dog. So 6th seed for me. I can't believe you put this team at where you put them. The Heat is my 6th seed team. They just traded Hassan Whiteside, which is a horrible contract they had.
I forgot they traded him. Whiteside's on the Blazers now. Forgot about that.
Yeah, and here I gotta pause it. I paused it so it'll be out. It just cut right back to here. All right, so Miami Heat is my sixth seed. They just got Jimmy Butler, who is one of the best two-way players in the league. You saw what he did with the 76ers. They got Goran Dragic, who's really good. Well, he's good, but he's not really good, but he's pretty good. I feel like he's gonna like the team. They could get John Wall and Bradley Beal, which would be absolutely insane. They could make some like I feel like they could still make some decent moves, even if like the off season's pretty much over, just because they got rid of that bad contract. They still have some space. Um, it kind of just depends on what they do if they make the sixth seed. But I think they're gonna. I have a gut feeling they'll do something great in the off season, which is why I'm gonna put them at the sixth seed. Plus, if you got Jimmy Butler on your team, you're gonna be doing good no matter what.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
my number 5 is the Boston Celtics. Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. That's all you need to say. Is that those three? Gordon Hayward's still there. Those four. They're still a deep team. They're still gonna be in there in the mix in the East. You can't count them out. Kemba Walker's not much of a downgrade from Kyrie Irving. Kemba Walker is, in my opinion, a top 5 point guard in the NBA.
Yeah.
The Celtics are still there. That's all I really need to say.
I think the fifth. I disagree with you. I think the fifth team is going to be Brooklyn. They just signed Kyrie Irving. They have Kevin Durant. They have DeAndre Jordan. I really don't know about the DeAndre Jordan signing, although he is good friends with Kevin Durant. I'd wonder what that's going to be doing with like Jared Allen or someone who does play center. But they still have a lot of their talent on their team, and they added Kyrie Irving. I think that Kyrie Irving is going to be really good with that team, even without Durant, at least in the East. So I think they'll be like a fifth seed type of team. When Kevin Durant comes back, though, even if he's not 100, if he's like 80%, that's like a second first team. But as of right now, because he's not going to be there, they're going to be fifth seed.
My fourth seed was the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving. I'm not going to include KD this year. DeAndre Jordan, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jarrett Allen. That team is crazy deep. They got rid of Rondae Hollis Jefferson, I believe. I think he plays for somebody else now. I'd have to double check. They lost D'Angelo Russell, but they got Kyrie. Doesn't really matter. They still got Karis LeVert. That team,
Deep.
that is a good offensive team. And they got Jared Allen, just block some shots. Yeah, the Nets are, in my opinion, they're better than Boston.
I disagree. Pacers are fourth seed. They lost their point guard, but they did get Malcolm Brogdon. Unfortunately, I wanted him to stay in the Bucks. They added Jeremy Lamb. He's a good wing shooter. They have Victor Oladipo. I don't know when he's going to be coming back this season, but when he comes back, they're going to be dangerous. They lost Bogdanovich, which is huge. And if they still had Bogdanovich, I'd have them at the third seed. But because they lost him, and because they lost Collison, I don't think that team's going to be more than a fourth seed team. I was actually struggling between them and the Brooklyn Nets. Victor Oladipo he's one of my favorite players in the league, but I don't think him and Brogdon are going to be able to pull off a big playoff run or be a top 3 seed. I think he's fourth, or they're fourth.
I actually had him at the third seed.
I know. There's no way you're putting that second or first.
Brogdon, I think Oladipo is gonna have another breakout year. I'm assuming he's gonna start the season.
Mhm.
Brogdon, Oladipo, Sabonis, and Miles Turner. Miles Turner's the best shot blocker in the NBA. That team is going to be nasty defensively. I think
It'll be a
they're
good defense.
they're the second best defensive team. No, I'm gonna have them. They're the third best defensive team in the NBA.
I know your other two.
Oladipo and Brogdon are good offensive players. I don't like Brogdon anymore. He left us, but the Pacers, their defense is gonna get them a lot of wins. They're gonna be hard to score
great
on.
defensive front or backcourt, and
And
backcourt. They have a good defensive team. Their whole
Yeah.
team's good at defense. All right, my number 3 is the Boston Celtics.
Jeez.
And the reason I say they're the third seed, I don't think they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs unless I think Kemba Walker is going to be better for that team than Kyrie Irving just because Kyrie Irving
Me too.
didn't really get along with the players on that team. They still have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They lost Al Horford, which is a pretty huge punch, but they did get Enes Kanter, who isn't a good defensive player, but he can play offense, which kind of sucks.
Oh, I forgot about him.
You need a defensive center. I think this team will be a really good regular season team, like they always are. But in the playoffs, they could get beat by Miami Heat, the 6th seed, if it does go the way I think. I think the Celtics aren't going to be a big playoff team. They usually, it seems like, without Terry Rozier and without Al Horford, that team doesn't really have good chemistry, and I don't think one regular season is gonna build it together. So I'm predicting that they're gonna lose right away in the playoffs, but I still think they'll be the 3rd seed.
My number 2, these are obvious, I think. The Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, I think they might have the best front big man duo in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid and Al Horford, and they have Mike Scott still. They lost JJ Redick. They lost Jimmy Butler. Those are big hits for them, and people need to realize that. That team has too many bigs to be the 1st seed. I think they're too slow. They don't have enough shooters anymore. Josh Richardson's a good pickup. He's a good defender. He can score somewhat. Ben Simmons, we don't even know if he can shoot because he's only taken one and he bricked it. They still have Tobias Harris, but they overpaid him.
They did overpay him.
I mean, he can't even really play defense either. He can just get you 21 a game. They paid him like he's fucking Kevin Durant. But that's my team's rival, so I'm not speaking of him very, very happily. I love Joel Embiid. He's one of my 10 favorite players in the league right now. I think he's gonna have a breakout season after what happened in the playoffs, but it's gonna happen to him again in the playoffs. Oh, that's my 2nd seed.
My number 2 seed is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Get out of here.
The Bucks will be number 2 in the East, and here is why. They just lost Malcolm Brogdon. They signed Giannis's brother and they signed Brook Lopez's brother. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but they do have the same team kind of without Brogdon. I think they're going to be an extremely good regular season team, but I can't really say why until I mention the number 1 seed, which is going to be the 76ers, because that's all that's left. But I'll tell you why when I get to the 76ers. But for now, Bucks are number 2.
And number 1 is the hometown team. It's not biased. I actually believe this, the Milwaukee Bucks. And we are going to win the championship. And here's why.
No.
Eric Bledsoe is a bulldog. He's a pit bull. He goes at it.
Why?
He's tough. He can defend. He's not a bad shooter. He just had a bad series. Shooting guard. We are deeper than people think. Pat Connaughton can play shooting guard, and that guy can score. Dante DaVincio can play defense. We have Wesley Matthews, our vet, and he is a sharp shooter, and he averaged 18 a game in Portland before when they had Aldridge.
Like 38% from three, 37% from three.
Sterling Brown is very, very underrated, and people are sleeping on him, and he's going to have a breakout year. I think he's going to have a chance to win most improved. Small forward, Chris Middleton. You don't need to explain about him. He just had a bad series. He will not have it again. We are about to sign J.R. Smith. That is a big addition. He can defend and he can shoot. All these players I've named can shoot somewhat.
Yeah, they're a shooting team and defensive.
Giannis, best player in the world.
Not even, no. I'm sorry, I love Giannis, but he's not the best player in the world.
Brook Lopez, Robin Lopez, who's tough. And we signed Giannis's brother.
Mascot.
Our team is the second best defensive team in the NBA. And I think we're a top 3 offensive team. And I think we're going to have the best net rating in the league again. We're too deep for any. And I didn't even mention DJ Wilson. We're still George Hill. I didn't mention George Hill.
All right, we get it. Cut the chatter. Number 1 seed is the Philadelphia 76ers. There's one thing you didn't mention about them, which is absolutely huge. Yes, they lost Jimmy Butler, but they signed Al Horford. All right, they signed Al Horford, which gives them
I said they signed Al Horford.
You did?
Yeah, I think they have the best.
It gives them the best front court. Yeah, it gives them the best front court in the NBA. I don't think Joel Embiid's going to be injured this season. I think he's going to stay healthy personally. If Joel Embiid stays healthy, he's a top 3 player in the league. I'm very excited to see him next year. And with him healthy, there's no team in the East better than the 76ers. So that's me assuming that they'll be healthy. So they have Joel Embiid, Al Horford. I think they'll get Kyle Korver. If they get Kyle Korver, that solidifies my number 1 seed position. They have Ben Simmons, who I don't care if he doesn't have a jump shot. He's a really good player. Tobias Harris. That team, not only do they have, most of them have already played together, so they have really good chemistry. And after that loss, I guarantee you that tightened them as a team. And they have just a great drive to play, just like the Bucks have a good drive. So I just feel like this team is just gonna, especially if they sign Kyle Korver, it's just gonna be unfair. They're gonna be so good, and I just think that they have a scarier team than the Milwaukee Bucks with Al Horford and Joel Embiid. And Ben Simmons. That's what speaks out to me. That team is deadly. You can't underestimate them. I'm not a Sixers fan. I'm a Bucks fan, and I think that they'll be better than the Bucks. That's just me being honest. Okay. We're probably at 50 minutes in.
Yeah, I know this is longer than I thought.
Should we do the West Conference right now?
Yeah.
Should we just be a little briefer with it? Especially with teams that don't matter too much?
Yeah, this conference is going to make a lot of people pissed off with our standings, I believe. This one's I think
mine is close, since 10th seed to 1st seed is super close.
Yeah. My number 15 is the Memphis Grizzlies.
What?
They're
stupid.
No. They're just too young. They don't have anybody that sticks up. Ja Morant is my rookie of the year. I think he's going to be better than Zion Williamson. But That team's too young. They don't have any good players over there, except for JaMychal Green. Or no, not JaMychal Green. Jaren Jackson Jr. They just that's the worst team in the West.
Right. Worst team in the West, Phoenix Suns easily. They have Ricky Rubio and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. TJ Warren, they lost for nothing. He sucks. That's all I'm saying. I don't think they're going to play well together, especially Ricky Rubio. Booker needs the ball in his hand. DeAndre Ayton's a good shot blocker, and he can score pretty well, and he can rebound the ball. But that team is not going to be good next year. I really don't think they're going to play well together, especially with Devin Booker on that team.
That's my number 14, the Phoenix Suns. I think I trust Devin Booker, Rubio, and DeAndre Ayton, since they're good players, to get them a few more wins than the Grizzlies are just too inexperienced. Devin Booker he's just a scorer. He can just score from anywhere. Like, scored 70 points last year, or 2 years ago, I believe it was. And then DeAndre Ayton, he's going to be an all-star. And Rubio is a good point guard you can trust day in and day out. Mm-hmm. And he's a good defender. I think they have better players than the Grizzlies right now with more experience. They're not going to get a lot more wins, but I think they'll be better.
This might be my shortest explanation for a team, but at 14th seed, I have the Thunder because they lost everyone. And I have a gut feeling that they would be better than the Phoenix Suns. I have no explanation for this. I didn't know where to put the Thunder. I just put them here. I don't think they'll be the 15th seed. I don't know. Like, this team is really confusing for me.
My number 13 was the Thunder. Assuming they keep Chris Paul, because right now they might keep him. Oh. Chris Paul, they still have Dennis Schroeder on their bench. I think they still have Jerian Grant. They have Steven Adams still. They still have some solid players on the team. They're better than the Suns and the Grizzlies, in my opinion. Chris Paul is going to get you those extra wins. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he doesn't. I hope he gets along with the young players on that team.
Yeah,
I really do.
Oh, and they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari. Forgot they got them.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Timberwolves are my number 13 seed. They got Jarrett Culver. He's okay. They don't have point guard, but
they're Jeff Teague.
I think they have Jeff. Yeah, they have Jeff Teague. He's pretty subpar. He kind of sucks. They didn't get D'Angelo Russell. They didn't get Wiggins.
They have Wiggins.
They did get Wiggins, but they weren't able to get rid of him. That's what I mean. They should have got rid of him. That team is. They are gonna be a little over a 30-win team maybe, but they're not gonna be a 12th seed.
My number 12 was the Timberwolves, strictly on Karl Anthony Towns. He's gonna get you the wins. He's a top 3 center in the league. He's a superstar. They can't build a team around him. And Josh Okogie's a good defender at the shooting guard position.
Yeah.
The team, it's Karl Anthony Towns or bust, kind of like the Wizards. Oh.
The Grizzlies. This is the one time where I feel like a young team will be good. They got Ja Morant. I think that's right. Ja Morant.
Ja Morant.
And then I think Morant. And then they got Brandon Clark, right?
Yeah.
They also have Jarrett Jackson, who could be really good. They got rid of Mike Conley, but I feel like this young group of players will play good together. And since I'm I'm trying to keep it a little short. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but Ja Moran, he can be rookie of the year. That guy, he's good. I really, really like him, and I'm
Yeah,
excited to see him play next year. And I think
that's my favorite rookie.
he leads to a whopping 12th seed in the West. All right, who's number 11? This is where it starts to get to competitors.
My number 11's the Pelicans. I don't believe all that BS about them making the playoffs. They have a lot of good young talent. There's Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Jahlil Okafor actually played good last year. Who else do they have? Drew Holiday's the star player. Zion Williamson they drafted. It's gonna take a little bit to gel together. Drew Holiday has a whole brand new team basically, but the 11th seed in the West is good for a young team.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. And I think that's going to be enough to prove that they're up and coming. I think the Pelicans next year have a chance to make the 8th seed.
Yeah, you basically explained my number 11, which is the Pelicans. They lost Anthony Davis. They got Zion. It's basically taking the Lakers, adding Zion.
Yeah.
Throw in JJ Redick and Drew Holiday. That's basically what it is. I don't think they're gonna be that good. They need to learn to play with each other. Zion Williamson, it's his first year, and with all the pressure he's facing, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do as good. He's definitely the favorite for rookie of the year, but we'll see about that. You hit it really well, so yeah. Who's your 10? We're gonna start disagreeing real soon.
Yeah, I did a lot of thinking.
Me too.
The San Antonio Spurs are my number 10.
Jeez.
Aldridge is gonna be 35, I believe. DeMar DeRozan can't shoot threes.
Who cares?
I don't really like their point guard, White. Derek White, I believe his name is. He's okay. They're getting what's his name back from injuries. The guy with the crazy hair. I forgot his name.
Elfrid Payton?
No, not Elfrid Payton.
I have no idea.
Lonnie Walker the third or the fourth.
Oh yeah. I know him.
Rudy Gay re-signed. They have Greg Popovich as their coach. Patty Mills is still there. It's just they're getting old.
They are.
And I think there's teams better than them now. That's all I can say.
No, you're gonna be really pissed at me for this one. But my number 10 seed is the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, shit.
I'm pretty sure they're like at your 8th or 7th or something. But the Kings, they did not improve their roster. They got rid of Willie Cauley-Stein, who was pretty good, even though I feel like they should have gotten rid of him. They paid a lot for Trevor Ariza, who is old and he's not as good as they think he is. They got young talent. They got what's his name? De'Aaron Fox. And what's that other dude's name? I always forget his name for some reason.
Buddy Hield.
Yeah, Buddy Hield. They have a good young team with Trevor Ariza. That team's kind of lacking a front court. I don't think that they're gonna do well just because they're lacking a roster. They're not deep. They have young talent, but they're not deep at all. They just have two really good young players and overpaid Trevor Ariza. That team's they're not making the playoffs.
They're my number 9. I have them missing the playoffs too. Willie Cauley-Stein was the big reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a big part of it. They didn't really get anything back for him.
Yeah, they didn't.
They still have De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield. I think they have one of the best young backcourts in the league. They're going to be good on the defensive end. But, yeah, I think they're a little better than the Spurs because they're younger. Yeah, they're gonna miss out on the
That's
playoffs.
bullshit. That's stupid. All right, Dallas Mavericks are my 9th seed.
That's
Sure about
stupid.
No, Kristaps is injured. I don't think he's going to come back healthy. That's not a personal thing. I don't think he's going to come back 100%. Luka Doncic is an absolute beast. Step back professional. He's an absolute monster. Kristaps Porzingis is huge, but he has a knee injury and he's 7 feet tall.
I don't care.
He's a 7 feet tall man with a knee injury. How are you going to tell me that he's not going to come back? He's not coming. I mean, he's going to come back not 100%. He's going to be an injury prone. I hate to say it as much as I like him. They didn't get anyone in free agency, really. I think they still have Giannis's brothers, so they could look forward to that. But that team's kind of a 2-man team in my eyes. I really don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They don't have enough. If Kristaps comes back, they might make the 8th, 7th seed, but I don't think if he comes back really healthy, but I really don't think he will. Unfortunately, that's a 9th seed team. That's right.
That's my number 8. Dallas is going to make the playoffs.
Oh, no.
Luka Doncic, rookie of the
33
year.
wins last year.
He's going to average 23 or 24 points a game this year. And he's gonna be really efficient scoring it. And Kristaps is gonna come in at 80% and average 20 and 10 and 1.5 blocks.
That's still not a playoff team.
Those two alone can get you into the playoffs, even in the West.
Not the West.
And they have JJ Barea. Dwight Powell is one of the most he sucks, but he's one of the most efficient pick and roll big men in the league. The Mavericks, they're gonna make the playoffs.
But do you think the Mavericks are gonna make the playoffs over the number 8 seed, the San Antonio Spurs? Hell no, they're not. There's no way. LaMarcus Aldridge, 35 years old, doesn't matter. He's a beast. You mentioned that DeMar DeRozan can't shoot threes. If you aren't a 3-point shooter and you're still successful in the league, that says a lot about you. Like, the league is a 3-point shooting league, but if you can still be really good without the 3, he's a 3-point shot away from being an absolute beast. Who says he can't learn it? Greg Popovich is still their coach. They still have a lot of their players that they had last year. I think they had 48 wins last year as a team. They were pretty good. I don't think that a young team with an injured, Kristaps Porzingis is going to be better than a solid team with one of the greatest coaches that ever lived. That team, I don't care. They have Greg Popovich. I already mentioned it. That team's making the playoffs. I don't care. They really will. They're good enough.
My number 7 is the Utah Jazz. They're good. They have Mike Conley. Derek Favors is still there. Rudy. Donovan Mitchell, the Spider.
Your voice is cutting out a little bit.
They are a good. What did you say?
Your voice is cutting out. You should. Could you re-explain why you chose that team?
Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, the Spider's still there. Rudy Gobert still there. Derek Favors is still there. They're a very good up-and-coming team, especially on the defensive end. Mike Conley makes a big difference on that team. They're just still not good enough to make any noise in the West, in my opinion. A lot of people
contender.
They're still a contender. Oh, all 8 seeds in the East and the West are contenders.
I agree. They all are.
But that's how close it is. Like, I have them at 7, but that doesn't mean they're not as good as the other teams. As far as I know, they could be only a game and a half out of the 4th seed. But
Um,
that's who I have.
I have that number 7 is the Golden State Warriors because they still have Stephen Curry. They added D'Angelo Russell, and they have Draymond Green. I just think with the injury of Clay Thompson and the loss of Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala, I feel like they're not that deep anymore. They lost what's his name? That point guard.
Sean Livingston.
They lost what's that point guard's name?
Oh, Quinn Cook.
Yeah, they lost him. They've lost so many valuable core players to their team. They don't have a deep bench. They have a really good lineup, but that team just, I think once you take the starting lineup out, they're just gonna fall. They're not gonna be that good. They're a 7th seed at best, maybe 6th. If Klay Thompson wasn't injured, I'd have him at like probably 5th seed, 6th seed, maybe 4th.
My number 6 is the Golden State Warriors. I can't disrespect Stephen Curry and put him up at the 7th, 8th seed. One day, he's going to be considered the best point guard in NBA history. I used to hate Stephen Curry, but I like him now. He's changed the entire game. He is, in my opinion, right now, the best point guard ever. He surpassed Magic Johnson. But Klay Thompson is supposed to come back at the end of the year. He's do lack of the play.
Your voice is cutting out again.
Still there. But this, like I said, they have Stephen Curry, the best 3-point shooter ever, the best point guard ever. Draymond Green's still there, one of the best on-ball defenders, and he can protect the rim. He can score somewhat. It's okay shooter. They still have him. He's an all-star. Klay Thompson's going to come back at the end of the year, most likely. He'll help out for a playoff push, and he'll help out in the playoffs. They still have they have D'Angelo Russell now. It's another all-star to help him out. The score. He's a bit. I guess he's a good addition for the loss of Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
They're one of the best offensive teams in the NBA. They're going to be scoring a lot of points, but their bench might be the worst in the league for a playoff team.
I don't think all I gotta say is I really don't think Stephen Curry is the greatest point guard of all time. We could talk about this another time. Magic has 5 championships. Curry has 3. I really think that's the reason why. I don't think Curry's gonna win another championship. Utah Jazz is my number 6. They have one of the brightest futures in the NBA. They have Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bogdan Bogdanovic they got from the Pacers. They have Joe Ingles at small forward. Derek Favors is still there. Don't they got Big Baby? No, Ed Davis.
Rudy Gobert.
They have an absolute defensive powerhouse. They have a great offensive team. They got some shooters on the team. They have really young talent. Donovan Mitchell's really good. And they got some veterans. I mean, that team is a perfect mix of veterans and young talent. They're contenders for the championship, and they're my 6th seed. Who's your 5th?
The Portland Trailblazers. They have, in my opinion, one of the sleepers that might snatch that MVP trophy. Damian Lillard. I think he has a chance to average 30 points. What?
I said something dumb.
I think he has a chance to average 30 points a game this year. Him and CJ McCollum, they might be, I'm trying to think at the top of my head right now. They might be the second best or the best backcourt in the NBA. they have Yusuf Nurkic is coming back. That's huge. And Hassan Whiteside's there instead of Enes Kanter. So finally, they have
more defense. Enes Kanter's not a defensive center.
And Hassan Whiteside can still get you 10 to 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
Blazers are they're my second favorite team in the NBA. Damian Lillard's one of my favorite all-time players. All because they're the 5th seed doesn't mean anything. I think they're going to make the Western Conference Finals.
One more. I'm going to pause. Okay, my 5th seed is also the Portland Trailblazers. I think that their front court of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum is absolutely dangerous. Nurkic is back, which makes them even more contenders than they were last year. They had Kent Bazemore. They added Hassan Whiteside. Rodney Hood is a good player to keep. That team is full of shooters. And once again, with Nurkic back, I think that team is I feel like I'm kind of putting them pretty low, but these next teams I feel like have a slight edge over them, but this team could win the championship. All right, who's your number 4?
The Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Nikola Jokic is an MVP candidate. I think they still have Will Barton. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are disgusting. That's a duo. They're just too young and inexperienced for these next 3 top dogs in the West. These 3 teams are just, their talent stacks up way too much compared to these other teams. Except for Portland. Portland's going to go to the Western Conference Finals. They're going to take it easy in the regular. Damian Lillard is a different animal in the playoffs, but Denver, they're the 4th
seed. So you have Portland playing Denver and winning them in the first round.
Yes, I think I might change my mind later on in the season. This is just my early prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I think Portland's going to beat them in 7 in the first round. Damian Lillard's going to make a buzzer.
I have the Rockets at 4th seed.
Oh, my God.
They have Russell Westbrook and James Harden. They lost Chris Paul, which is awesome.
Awesome.
They still have Clint Capella, right?
Yeah, they had Clint Capella.
They had Clint Capella. That's about it. That's about all they really did. They still have Eric Gordon. So, yeah, they still have a really good team, but a really good team is not enough to make you a 3rd, 2nd, 3rd seed in the West. We don't know how Russell Westbrook and James Harden will play together. I'm assuming they'll be a really good team together, or a good duo together, but I feel like with Eric Gordon, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Clint Capella all on the same floor, someone's going to have to suffer. I don't know who it is, but I think someone will suffer. And because you have 2 ball-dominant, high-usage rate players, I do not think the Rockets will be a top 3 seed in the West. Your number 3 is the Rockets. I already know it. Go ahead and say it.
My number 3 is the Lakers.
No.
No, it's the Rockets.
Okay, I was going to say, I was going to roast you for a second.
Yeah, James Harden,
Idiotic.
best shooting guard in the NBA.
Yeah.
They have Russell Westbrook. I don't agree with you that they won't be able to share the ball.
Among 4 players?
2 players. Eric Gordon's been a role player and a 6-man for him for a long time. He's been sacrificing for a while. He'll sacrifice. Clint Capella doesn't need to score that much.
He thinks he's an all-star. Clint Capella thinks he's like really good.
I think he is too. But James Harden and Russell Westbrook are good friends. They played together before. They know how to play. James Harden said he knows how to play with Westbrook. That team, I think, is going to have better chemistry than people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to finish the season with 55-plus wins. The top three teams in the West are all going to finish
You ready
55
for
and
this?
up.
My number 3 seed is the Denver Nuggets. The
I'm not
Nugget,
mad at that.
the Nugget heads. Obviously the first 2 seeds you already know what they are. I'm not gonna say them, but you already know what they are. They have the deepest bench in the league, in my opinion. They are absolutely deep. They have the exact same starting 5. They did good last year. They were a top team. Who says they're not going to do it this year? There's not really too much explaining to do. I mean, they have Jokic still. They have Jamal Murray. They have everyone. Like that team. Take that team as how good as it was last year and how far they made it, and now add another year of experience to that team playing together. That team is going to be a number 3 seed, and I think they have one of the highest chances in the league. And they have a really high chance of winning the title next year. Who's your number 2? It's the top 2.
The Lakers are my number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Anthony Davis and LeBron James
Best
are
in the league.
strictly the only reason why. They have 2 superstars, 2 top 5 players in the world. Their team is completely different, and that is going to hold them back from the first seed. I think the Lakers are going to finish with like 56 wins. I think they're going to struggle towards the beginning. LeBron James and Davis they'll get it together. Kuzma's still there, so him and LeBron already have chemistry, but that team is completely different.
They are different, yeah.
JaVale McGee's still there, but DeMarcus Cousins is there. I think it's going to take him a little bit to get into that system. That's just their reason. They're just a completely new team. They're going to struggle in the beginning of the year. Who's your number 2?
They come from Los Angeles. They're the best defensive team in the league.
Get out of here.
It's the Clippers.
How are the Lakers the first seed?
Wait. Let me explain. The Clippers have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, which in my opinion is a top 3 duo in the league. They have Patrick Beverly, and they have I'm gonna start my first rant about Lou Williams real quick. This dude is a 3-time Sixth Man of the Year, averages over 20 points per game, and he comes off the bench. Why is he on the bench? There's no reason for him to be on the bench. He's a starter. And people are like, oh, he might not be comfortable playing on the starting lineup. Who cares? He's an NBA player. He plays off the bench, and he's an all-star. He's a borderline all-star. And he plays off the bench. How selfish do you have to be to want to win Sixth Man of the Year every single season? Why do you have to play off the bench? I think that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lou Williams, and Patrick Beverly don't have the skills to pass the ball. I don't think they're going to have good ball movement next year. They all have good defense. They're good shooters. They have 3 All-Stars, because I'm going to call Lou Williams as a borderline All-Star. That team's really good, but they're not going to pass well. I think Lou Williams is going to take a huge hit because Paul George is going to be playing shooting guard. One funny photo I saw is like, imagine being a point guard and getting switched from Patrick Beverly to Paul George, getting switched from Paul George to Kawhi Leonard. I'm not saying anything bad defensively about that team. They're also a good offensive team, but their ball movement is going to hurt them, and I can't see them winning a title this year.
Okay.
They're contenders, but goddamn Williams.
Let's wrap this end up real quick. We're just going to name our number 1 seed, give a quick reason why, and then we're going to do a really early who we think are going to make the finals
and win.
But this is just an estimate. We're going to do another one right before the season and make our season predictions then, once we have everything. The Clippers are the best team in the West in the regular season.
Your voice cut out. You should restart. It's just frozen on your face. Here,
Yeah.
restart your Clippers description.
Okay. The Clippers are the deepest team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They're by far the deepest team. You have 2 players on your bench that were top 2 in 6 man of the year votes. Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, Anya Landry Shamet on your bench. And who else do they have on their? I know they have more fucking players on their bench. Just can't think of them right now.
Montrezl
Oh,
center, he's good.
Sivak, or how do you say his last name?
I don't know.
He used to play for the Lakers. He's their backup center. That team is nasty. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Patrick. You're LeBron James. You're running down the left.
You switch from 3 different players. You can't if you're a point guard, shooting guard, you're not gonna get a good player.
You're running
Player.
down the left. Paul George has a huge. He's like what 6'10", and he's right in your face.
Yeah.
And then you try to go down the middle.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard's there, that big wingspan, best on-ball defender in the NBA. And then you go to your right. Patrick Beverly's there, ready to knock your ass on the floor, take the ball from you. And Montrezl Harrell's in the paint. And you're telling me the Lakers are better?
Yeah.
In the regular season. I'm not saying the playoffs, in the regular season.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
All right, my number 1, Los Angeles Lakers. 4 words: LeBron, Davis, Kuzma, and DeMarcus.
That's it?
Now I'm gonna elaborate a little bit. They just signed Avery Bradley and Quinn Cook. Quinn Cook has finals experience. So does Danny Green. He's a sharpshooter. LeBron James has literally been built around perfectly. Danny Green's a shooter. Quinn Cook can shoot. Avery Bradley can shoot. DeMarcus Cousins is an amazing center. They have one of the best. I don't care if he's injured. He claims he's 100%. I believe him. He's going to come back strong. Anthony Davis is a great power forward. If the shooters aren't making it, you have 2 big men who can not only shoot but can also post up and score in the paint. LeBron James has unlimited scoring options to pass to. He might lead the league in assists next year. He's going to be absolutely amazing next year because of the players around him. And you talk about your finals first, but the Lakers are not to be messed with.
It's just
ball movement.
Let's just do this brief because this has been a way longer video than I thought.
Yeah, it's like an hour 20 minutes.
And my phone's gonna die. So my finals is the Milwaukee Bucks versus the LA Lakers. The Lakers are gonna make it because LeBron has experience.
Danny
Mr.
Green,
Finals.
Quinn Cook.
And the Milwaukee Bucks are going to beat them in 7 games in the NBA Finals. And Giannis is going to win Finals MVP. Okay, really quick.
I agree with your finals. I think it'll be Lakers versus the Bucks. I think even if the Bucks are the 2nd seed, I think they'll make it to the finals. But I think the Lakers are going to win in 6 or 7, and LeBron James will be Finals MVP.
Okay. Thank you for watching. This is the Full Court Press podcast, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
All I got to say, one more quick thing. I can't believe you think the Clippers are going to be the number 1 seed. You didn't even mention ball movement. Let's end it at that. All right, bye, guys.